afternoon, everyone. Alright, my name is Jose Murickan, and we're working on Imprints.
My name is El-Shafei.
We worked at Bronx Community College. Our mentor was Dr. Brennan, and our co-mentor was Dr. John Molina.
Okay, so first we want to introduce AFIS, which is basically the Automated Fingerprint Identification System. This program uses 14 points of minutia, which are different, like little characteristics to identify fingerprints. And what you're seeing is basically just like a fingerprint being identified and matched to one unrelated base.
Every fingerprint is unique. This is why so many forensic scientists and crime scene cops and everybody use fingerprint analysis, because everyone has a different fingerprint and we're all unique in our own way, so it makes it easier to identify the person. And an interesting fact that you should know is that fingerprints are more of a reliable source than DNA. So that means you can match a person with their fingerprint faster than you can use with their DNA.
Also, according to Charles Darwin's cousin, Sir Francis Galton, the odds of two different individuals having identical fingerprints is 1 in 64 billion. And I just want to point out that the arrow pointing the fingerprints that we have are Rosa Parks fingerprints are formed 100 days after conception. Basically, there are 3 general types of fingerprints: arches, whorls, and loops.
These are it's pretty much self-explanatory. Arch, you can tell by the shape that it's in. It's kind of an arch. Whorl, it's in a whorl shape. And then you have the loop. It's supposed to look, it's all self-explanatory. Of what they look like is next to you, next to the picture. And the ones towards the bottom, radial loop, and all those are a little more in depth. And there is one really uncommon one, and it's called a mix, and as self-explanatory too, it has a mix of all the things. It has arch, whorl, everything mixed. Basically, no, we don't have it. It'll come. All right, this is the breakdown of the fingerprint. Not almost, every single fingerprint has this, but in different shapes. Some stuff you can tell is self-explanatory also. The delta, meaning triangle, as you can see, is a triangle shape there. Then you have the island. You can tell it's one mark all alone surrounded as an island. You have core as the center, ridge endings, pores, crossover. These are all self-explanatory. Fingerprints are very basic, so you can tell by this thing. But these are basic things that all fingerprints should have.
Okay, when there's a crime scene, there are 3 different types of fingerprints that can be seen. There's visible, plastic, and latent. Okay, just into more detail. Visible, you can see with the naked eye. So whether it's like someone touched blood and then picked it up and touched something else, it's like that. Plastic is when a finger comes in contact with a soft surface, but it's not, you can't really see it. And latent occurs when, your fingerprints have oils in them, and that's when you touch something else, it will transfer it. And the plastic and latent fingerprints need to be, they need to be enhanced by chemical means.
And these are some ways that you can identify fingerprints. You have ultraviolet lights that if you scan through a crime scene, you can find visible fingerprints. There are other ways, those are coming. These are just one of the, this would be the first approach you would take to see if you can find it. If not, then you go use chemicals and go a little bit. We have a video showing someone actually using this. The method that she's using is hot glue. What you do is the fumes from hot glue you can use into a chamber. Wherever there's fingerprints, let's say for a pencil has fingerprints, someone touches it, you put it into a chamber filled with fumes from hot glue, and after a couple of hours the fingerprints will be visible.
We're in a lab and I'm going to use some super glue. If there are any prints, that's going to help develop them. It's called Hot Shot, and that will attach to any amino acids left on the item. This red stuff is an activator packet and a little canister in there. It creates heat, and then we drop super glue on top of the canister, and it heats up the super glue, which attaches to the fingerprints. This is a super glue chamber. It's a black card, and we just put one of our fingerprints on it because we'll be able to tell if it's white on there, we can see a print, then we know then everything is developed. Criminals always make a mistake. They're always going to leave that one key piece of evidence behind. You leave amino acids on anything that you touch, and it's just fatty acids in your fingerprints, and the super glue attaches to the amino acids, so it'll bring up the print a little bit better so you can physically see it.
Crime 360, an all-new series.
You place it onto on the hot glue fumes, and then after a couple of hours, you should be able to see.
Basically, the fumes from the hot glue basically attach to the oils to make it visible.
Some chemical, Annie mentioned earlier about chemical ways of identifying it. One chemical way is you can use ninhydrin. It's a chemical that you use to find fingerprints. We did this in the lab. What we basically did was we took fingerprints, put it onto a spoon, and those are invisible ones that you can't see from the naked eye. Then we exposed it to the ninhydrin, and after a couple hours, it became visible and it was in the brown color. We exposed it to iodine as well, and iodine became purple brown, and then ninhydrin became purple violet. That's just.
Okay, shoe prints are also very important to your crime scene because, well, first shoe prints are can be three-dimensional and two-dimensional, but the reason why shoe prints and footprints are important to a crime scene, well, just first shoe prints, because everyone walks in a specific way, like differently from everyone else, so the shoe kind of gets different little characteristics from your walking style, and so we can spot that out.
For example, if there's a person who's a little on the heavier side, their imprints will be a little deeper on certain grounds. Some people might walk crooked, so their footprints might be in that shape too. So that's just some ways of identifying. And also there's some sneakers that leave certain fingerprints that you can trace back to only certain people, like if it's a really expensive thing, only certain people wear it. And these are some of the ways that you can identify them. This is more of a three-dimensional shoe print. This is more of a two-dimensional. And this black item that you see here is called the gel lifter. What it basically does, you just lay it down and just lift it. Basically takes the fingerprint. And this process that you see here is known as casting. What you basically do is when you see the fingerprint, the footprint on the ground, there's a mixture that you pour into it. And after a couple of hours, it'll turn into the shape of whatever it needs to fill. And then you can slowly lift the cast and take it into the lab for analysis. This is what forensic scientists do. These are our references. We would like to acknowledge Dr. Sad, Dr. Redman, our mentor, Dr. John Molina, Eric and Kim, who helped us out, ACS, ACF staff, family and friends, and of course,
before you ask questions, Jose forgot to mention a couple of things. Okay, footprints are useful to a crime scene because for most of the time, a person's footprint is 15% of their height. So, if your footprint is like 8 inches, then they can calculate how tall the person is supposed to be. Most of the time.